this animation is awesome. And one day I opened LinkedIn and I saw Edward tell me like, hey man, we want you to join our team to do season 2 and season 3 of Being Visible. I was like, what? Is this real? Like it was like right before Christmas, and I immediately tell him like, man, this is the best Christmas gift I ever had.
Please welcome concept artist Tsu Wei Chen to this episode of the Learn Squared podcast, where he shares his roller coaster journey of life as a creative, like how he switched gears after starting out in matte painting and VFX to concept art, and working on a multitude of titles such as Off the Grid, Invincible, and more. So let's jump in and hear how dedication and embracing the bumpy ride of a creative can lead to amazing places. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Learn Squared podcast. Delighted to welcome one amazing guest today, Tsu Wei Chen. Welcome, Tsu Wei.
Hey, hello, hello everyone, and hello Aaron. Thank you for inviting me to this cool kids tables, and I'm very happy and being to be your guest and be in your audience for a while, and it's really happy to finally seeing you and met you in person. I know probably it's your first time meeting me, but for me it's not the same. It's like seeing you from a while ago. Like, so it's kind of weird. Like I feel like I kind of know you, like kind of you're your friend or something. Like, but
Oh, no, awesome. I'm glad to have a regular listener on. That's always awesome to hear. And likewise, like I think with a lot of artists in our field, especially when you go meet at events, when you meet people, it's kind of like initially everyone's a stranger because you never really see anyone's faces. But then when you see their portfolio and you see their work, it's like, oh yeah, I've known you for so long because you've been following their work. And that's my relationship with yourself. I've been very, very familiar with yourself over the years. If when we run the Learn Squared account, I see your work popping up on my own personal feed. I see your work popping up. And over the years, it's always been like, wow, awesome. And the growth has been just constantly growing. So yeah, it's only a matter of time before we had you on and to get to hear your story and your journey. So let's get into it. If you let everybody know, as we always begin with the episodes, who you are and what you do.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. That I've been very happy to hear what you comment about me, and I guess social media do have some positive sides. So
in that case, yes.
So yeah, I'm a concept artist working in entertainment industry for like all kinds of different subject matter like films and animation and video game. For at these days about 8 years of experience. I've been bit of specialized in environment and also tried expanding my skill set from doing environment design and into all kinds of different subject matter. I since high school I started to learn design. I was go to that kind of professional, I think for a lot of country there's a two paths, like academic path and another is like career driven path, like that you've been sort of training to get job, right? It's like,
yes.
There's this kind of education in your place, or like this kind of professional education? Is that how you guys pronounce, or?
Yeah, I guess just like academic route. So high school, college, university, and us shifts in different kind of places.
Oh.
And then obviously you can do the self-taught route as well, which is the basically like the rebel way. Like you just kind of go off into the wilderness by yourself.
Yeah. So I go it's like in Asia there's a kind of stereotype, like people would be encouraged to be doctor, engineer,
yes,
or doctor and engineer same time. Probably would be much awesome for the Asia parent. And to me it's kind of the same, but I am very quick to understanding like I'm not that much good at like for the academic path. So I was go to the professional education. I started to study design since high school. It's a sort of graduate graphic design major. and learning phone design and
Mm-hmm.
web design and all kinds of and learning design history and color theory, all kinds of things since
Mm-hmm.
high school. So yeah, I think I've been very lucky to being given this kind of opportunity to learn a very broad idea of design, get into this world of design in a very early age.
Mm-hmm.
But and then later on, when I go to college, I was also study graphic design. It's a visual communication and design bachelor
Mm-hmm.
degree, and you know what's funny is like the reason I go there is because I think I already learned graphic design in high school, so I must can get very easy like
Mm.
university time, and I will get more time to just do what I want to do. And actually, what I want to do for most of the time is just play games. Just play games, watch animation, watch movies. So yeah. Oh, your lighting is getting darker.
Yeah, I'll sort that out. There we
It's
go. Back to normal.
yeah, the force of darkness just
Yes. When you mentioned just want to play video games, my
yeah.
soul just said turn everything off. Let's go play.
Yes. Yeah. So well. Yeah. Really millions of hours of like Fallout and like all the oldest the oldest scroll
Mm.
and Warframe. The kind of service based game. You're really eating a lot of time. And
Yes.
yeah, I don't really know these things called concept art. I think just like majority of people. So I just do learning graphic design, learning design history, color theory, all those things. And I don't even know perspective. That's kind of weird because in graphic design education, they sort of teach you to do illustration, but they didn't teach you perspective. So like for I think it's like 4 years of my you think about since high school like to university, like there's a 7 years, right? So like if there's a 3-4 years, my drawing is just not good. It's like
Mm.
why I couldn't draw 3-dimensional illusion on 2D pages, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just weird tweaking, and because I don't know perspective, so I think that's weird things, and because obviously my first language, my native tongue is Chinese. We speak Chinese in Taiwan, and
Mm-hmm.
we kind of didn't get much of like like how to draw the kind of book it's writing in English. So it's like I just didn't know, don't even know there's a thing called perspective or all the fundamental you should learn to be maybe not concept artist, but as illustrator is some kind of professional. Probably a lot of people would easier to access, because concept art is like much younger, much new in the sort of past career path, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and then so yeah, I was like saying I graduate and I study in university, and one day there's an illustrator. Actually, there's a two illustrator come to my school. They giving us little workshop, and they're pretty famous. One is called Loliza. He's now sort of art lead in Riot
Mm-hmm.
Singapore, and he brings his friend called Currents, is a pretty famous illustration artist
Mm-hmm.
in Taiwan. They giving this speech and the workshop, and they finally talk about this idea of fundamental. Sorry, so it's like they mention, right? You want to be a good illustrator. The most important thing is fundamental, and also I think it's because they are giving speech in the university, right? So like what kind of things they could teach kids like me, right? So they just say, yeah, fundamental is super important, perspective. And I was like, my mind's exploded. It was like, oh, there's this thing called perspective. I don't even know, like, no wonder my drawing is just weird, like, So yeah, that's how little I know about industry, is I then of course since then I was started to put in, just every hour after school time, and of course video game playing time. That's still important to me. So like I would just practice like And yeah, saying, and I still don't know what concept art is. Tell like I was in the third years when I studied in university. Like finally, I know that because one day I opened Fanzoo's FZD's YouTube channel. Right, I think many people learn from Fanzoo, and but to me, it's more exciting moment because all of a suddenly I kind of get what he's talking about. He's talking English, right? So I guess I didn't waste all my years like play games and movies like because I was accumulating those idea of learning English and like my brain is kind of sucking those information and one day is just click. Feel amazing, pretty amazing thing. It's like magic to me. But I guess it's a lot like the show The Lost, right? There's a Korean guy. He didn't speak English at the beginning, right? But after
Jin. Yeah.
couple season, he learned English like by just being surrounded by all the English speaker.
Yeah.
So to me, I guess that's kind of my case too. And so that was the moment that I can access English, and finally I understand there's a thing called concept art. So yeah, all those things is we allow those information, little nugget, little puzzle, little piece, and one day they kind of just make sense. But without those information, without internet, without just amazing artists like Currents and Lolita, they come to my school with tell me and every student how important fundamental is. I couldn't get started. So right now I feel like those information is really helping. Well, helping me. I believe in helping so many artists. They sometimes they couldn't even say what they want to do. They just feel like like cool art, like
Yes.
like spaceship. It's kind of cool. Like, they don't even realize they couldn't even articulate. But
Yes.
one day you kind of being giving those keywords, those information. They kind of make sense one day, and at least to me, it's like that. So yeah, that's a pretty amazing things. And then like I just the ball started rolling because you finally learn and know that there's a things you can do, and I didn't properly like learn perspective or all those important fundamental back thing for a long time, but I do get like the kind of graphic design education, right? They kind of training you to like identify what's the good shape, good and the proportion and the color. So I think those things still helping me, and most importantly, like learning like design history, right? So we can understanding what designer in the old days what they're thinking, what they're facing, which in the way is I think is very good like guideline for artists in this day, because a lot of designer they are facing a very quite dramatic time, right? It's like I think our there's a period of time like called momentum of art and craftsman is this art this style is coming from UK. There's a designer called Mollis. He one day he saw this sorry, I need to check it how to pronounce this. Oh, Expo. Yeah, Expo. Right now it's in Osaka, right? The first Expo, World Expo is in UK. And he saw those things and he saw the new way of creating industrial product, and he hated. He seen those industry big massive manufacturing product is is ugly, and he decided to doing his own way, and he start to design. Well, as kind of before his time, people kind of connect design and art together, right? It's like a craftsman. If you're doing furniture, you design the furniture, but also you craft the wood by yourself. So before, I think beforehand, a lot of artists and designers, they don't have this idea of design things. And so, yeah, so design history though really teach me a lot and just let me understanding like what I'm trying to do is kind of just, before the production, we try to figure out how things look like. So even so, I guess that's why when I access some information like concept art, I can sort of understanding what this job is doing, because I was thinking, oh yeah, that's pure production. This idea of pure production is pretty self-explaining for me. So I started to learn every skill that I need, and then of course the time was, I think it's also the periods of time where Lens Square started to doing a lot of online course, and I buy a course from German, Yama Jurbaev is this how to pronounce his name, like yeah, and so his narrative concept art, yeah, I think that's my sort of my first course, online course, I because I before that I was like, I already saw his work from social media, and I was like just pretty surprising to see like artists you've been admired for a long time, and Sunday he creating a course like you can really learn from him. Like I feel that's amazing, then and I buy it. It's not cheap. It's especially from Asia, the cost of living, the kind of level of pricing. But I think because it's not cheap for me, I spend more time to study it. And yeah, I really appreciate what this course, because also it's because the each video is pretty short, it's like a couple of minutes. And I was pretty I think I'm pretty like that, because in the university, like a single lecture is like 40 minutes, right? Like, but by watching those video and learn from amazing artists like Yama, it tell me like, well, actually you can articulate an idea with just a couple minutes, and then it's demonstration. So it's like the structure is so clear, and it's pretty and it give you sort of like, when you saw it, you don't have a like very big burden, like you have to prepare for long, very very long hour to learn. You could just click and you can understand this idea, and maybe you can drink your water and rest a couple of minutes, or maybe play another round of games, and get back to the course. So yeah, I think that's also something that very good to have a chance to access those information when I am still in school, because I mean, when you're in school, you kind of being given a time to learn, to explore, and also just you can just don't think about too much about like pressure, like working relate to working and get paid or pay the bill, right? So so that's that's a good, and then I think when I all of a suddenly realized I can learn English, I can understand English. I started to taking as much information as I can, started to digging back to a lot of online resources like Level Up and Art Cafe. I try to listen every episode and just try to start searching every artist name and try to find if there's any talk or workshop online they're sharing online, and so yeah, that was how I learned concept art. And at the beginning, then I was pretty lucky, because in the background, in the big picture, besides I learning this in my like in my little room in the university, there's something bigger happen. Like industry is getting getting boom, not maybe not booming, but it's like well, it's like going up, right? It's like streaming media. Like streaming media is getting bigger and bigger. They started to produce so many content, and they have demand on content, which means there's a more opportunity for artists to get hired to do project, right? So yeah, that when that happened, I just graduated, and I was like, okay, now I learn all the skill, but what's next? How do I get job? Right? It's like I tried to post something online, but it's kind of like you throw a stone to the ocean or something. Like you kind of you didn't get back something back right immediately, right? Like I like, but I noticed one thing is something I learned is quite different than the industry in the place where I live, right? I think that's majority of people would have this kind of challenging when they graduate or any moment, right? Because there's almost 200 country in the world, but there's only a couple of country where you can say there is some industry hub located. So to me, it's the same. You know, I was like, I noticed not much of video game studio in Taiwan are doing like even 3D games. Not much of games studio are doing 3D games, and they are sort of in the periods of mobile game. That was 2017. So mobile game is started to getting sort of saturated, right? So so there's some studio are doing mobile game in Taiwan, and something outside of that, I really don't know where we're going to have a demand for designer who design things in pure production phase, or so I guess it's sometimes it's like the production need to be have a certain scale, need to be a bit bigger, so they notice like they have to separate pure production and production and post production, so like they have a pipeline, right? But sometimes when the scale is not very big, there's really no reason to separate all those different phases, right? You can just have a team of sort of a startup team that just very dynamic, very agile, and just do it, right? You don't kind of need to planning things very well. And in Taiwan, like yes, there is not much of studio are doing like production are bigger, like so. But streaming media is rising. So to me, it's like that was something I couldn't expect would happen, which is a good thing, you know. It's a good thing that you couldn't expect. So that was the time was like streaming media, but not just in West, also in the East is rising up. Like there's a lot of streaming media in China. They started to have a lot of demand creating movies and shows, and you know in the fantasy genre and all kinds of genre. They have a lot of demand for VFX. So you know that was just happened. I get chance to get hired by VFX studio called the White Rabbit Entertainment. So yeah, that was quite an accident, you know, happy accident, you know, because before that, movie industry in the East or I think in majority of the country is not very big, right? Because this movie industry in the West, in American, is so big. So and it's digital content, so it can import. Every country can import this big budget, high quality, like big star, and you know millions of budget film. So why people want to watching the film that not that much quality, right? So but actually there's always room for that. But you know, because some even the content is so strong from the West, but still there's some story only can speak by local creator. There's only local there's only local director, only local writer. They can telling the story in the happen in like next to your door. and with your culture. So I think there's always a room for that. But besides of the kind of movie, there's not much of room for like not even the middle budget. It's kind of like video game industry in the right now, right? Like double A game is getting so it's a lot lower amount of number of double A project compared to the old days, right? So it's kind of like that. But streaming media is just giving this room, a huge room for new content, new ways of new I kind of forget words. It's like a Sting, right? Sting is called let me check it how to say it. Sorry.
It's okay, no worries, no worries.
A sort of agent. I think there's still not the proper word. I kind of forget about this word. But this, there's a way to shipping the information to your device, your like Sting or like Netflix, right? So there's a entire new digital platform that can shipping product to your platform, to your platform, to your phone, to your computer. So that opened the entire new way to that they kind of opened a lot of door for content creators. So to me, to a lot of creators in Asia, I think in all over the world, it's the same. So that was a good years. I think every year that just more and more movie, more show get produced across all over the world, and a lot of artists get chance to get in the industry and or get mid-level artists get hired to they can promote. So that was a good time. And so the one day I just have no idea. I just graduate, have no idea what I'm trying, what can I do, right? And next day I get hired to do concept art and map painting in VFX studio for films, right? That sounds incredible. It's like, because there was like in the old days, like I think I heard a lot about this story from the shared by artists that they're like in the state, right? They're in America, like there's industry, like there's a good, very awesome school, like art center, like you can heard about them talking about, yes, you are in the university, you can get internship, and then you get chance to work in film or VFX studio. And now that kind of chance is more often you can see from like outside of United States. So I think that's amazing. And for me especially, I didn't see that coming. I just really just do a guy living like sitting in my room and like and then what, and then one day I saw those information and I started to learning, and then I get job, like that's awesome, like and you get paid to keep learning, right? So it's like you've been sort of pointing a much clear way and clear path for you, because even right now I'm sort of like talking a lot of things, but at the moment I have no idea what I'm doing. I just scared and just like, how do I get job? Like how do I get hired? And just, and I apply here, apply there, and all of a sudden I get some feedback and get some chance, and being given chance to continue learning and growing in the studio environment, and which that was really I really appreciate that. And thanks to the art director at the time giving me this kind of chance. And then it's but in VFX studio, like they kind of encourage you to, well, at least for me, it's like they kind of encourage me to learn more about map painting and start to learn and pursuing this environment journalist path, and learn Maya, learn how to do digital environment, digital nature, how to do, and then learn about a little bit about nuke, learn about compositing, and learn about color grading these things. And I kind of, at the time, I kind of just wanted to focus on design. I feel like that's where my passion is. So I started to notice like video game is a industry seems to be more chance to just for me to focus on design, because video game is like three-dimensional immersive experience, right? So there's like literally millions of things need to be figured out before it modeling those assets. So I was saying that sounds amazing, that sounds awesome because there's like so many problems to solve, and being designer is like being a visual problem solver. So I feel like, wow, I must go get into doing video game. But again, I have no idea. And this time I kind of like back to the first stage, like of not knowing everything, or I have no idea what to do, and just because I try to apply some studio, but it's like foreign studio is like super difficult to get into as for me as a foreigner, because they need to apply. They may have no planning to hire foreigner, right? So work premiere and all those things is just extra amount of cost for them to hire anyone. So it's like why they want to hire me, right? So it's like I know a lot of artists say like you just get good. One day you can get this chance, but like how good should I get, right? Like that's like I have no idea. Like I think there's many people like you and me. We like do this. We spend all of time doing this, right? But because we like it, but still we want to sort of like when we kind of do it, when we're doing those art, we kind of forget the time and the things around us. But sometimes when we sort of we all of a sudden we can sort of like wake up and notice like, hey, oh, what's going on? Like, oh, I've been spent 10 hours in Blender, and okay, now it's like, oh, it's like 8 p.m. or something. You're right, but you need to know where you are, right? So like, okay, you get good, you get somewhere, but like how good? Like that's a huge problem, especially for me. It's like right now I putting a lot of mileage. Like you must know this idea. You putting a lot of mileage, right? You must now have a clear idea about your design, and you look back, you can see your progress, right?
Yes.
So for me, it's the same. But at the moment, when I haven't put in the mileage, when I haven't progressed, I don't even know what should I do. I don't even see there's a big problem because I couldn't see, right? That's like paradox. So yeah, that was like that moment I started to feel really lost, and yeah, and it's because I mentioned I studied graphic design since high school, and I do have a chance to meet some person, my classmates. He's like super talent. I saw I know understanding what talent means, because we have this contest, like national graphic design contest. You're doing poster, and he coming out of this idea. He coming out of two ideas. One he did him by himself. Another one is he giving this idea to another classmates of ours. And these two ideas, his own, when the poster he doing himself, he win this one, the first place, and this second idea he win the third place. It's like yeah, it's like he's really talented guy, And me, when I studied graphic design, even I spent so many years, like 7 years study graphic design. I'm not actually that talented, I'm like okay, when I do concept art, I'm kind of the same, I'm just there's years and years I put in the time, and I don't feel like I've been improving that much. I do improving, I think I can have a better idea about when people say composition, what they mean. And I go back to what, Jama's narrative concept art course. I started to understanding some of his idea he's saying but I didn't feel like I'm improving a lot, that much. Like I was still confusing, but I've been thinking do something else for like so many times, doing modeling or maybe because modeling, like you have a clean idea of you model this with proper mesh where wireframe is good model, like right, they got clear standard sort of, and maybe learn about other things like being I don't know is sort of environment artist or level artist. I was thinking about those things for so many times because I don't see myself improving. I put my work next to all those amazing artists. I look up, like I put my work on next to Jama's work or Mache's work or S1's work, and I was like I don't know how to go from A to from B. I was like, oh man, it's like. But luckily, I still enjoy doing it, so I just keep on doing it. And I guess just putting the mileage is really work, so when I working for like almost 3 years, I was doing something like, oh yeah, I remember, like I listened what Mache talking about. He putting so much hour every day in improving his skill, right? So it's like I hear him talk about like 8 hours of working, then he back home like another 6 or even 8 hours. So it's like 16 hours a day. He just improving, right? Then putting the mileage, and when I listened to that, I was like, man, no wonder he's Mache, right? It's like I was like, man, that's incredible. And and at the time I kind of actually doing similar to what he's doing, because I have a job in VFX studio in the morning, and I get back and I do, and I still just put in mileage and practice. And I didn't notice because I have a lot of fun, and I didn't feel like I'm grinding and feel miserable. Like, and I do feel a bit difficult from time. I don't know what to do, but I still enjoy to just redo it and remodel, redesign, and try to figure it out. Sometimes just you tweaking the camera, like, and for no reason, you just, like, so when I know now looking back, I would, at the moment, I do putting a lot of hour without even knowing or feel, that's a very difficult thing to do. So like when I'm working in VFX studio and for almost about 3 years, I kind of started to sort of click, start to understanding a lot of composition idea and how to see shape, what people say shape language and form language, what they mean. I start gradually understanding those ideas one by one. And I think one of the reasons is because I'm too scattered on too many things, like environment. Sometimes I do character, sometimes I do some hard surface design, right? So yeah, now I look back and understanding I'm a bit too scattered. Maybe I could focus, but you never know, right? It's like at the moment you're just like, oh, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do this, right? Yeah. So then and I want to get into video game industry. I have no idea what could I do, right? And but there's a contest hosted by Kid-3D, right? They're hosting a lot of tests. They have this test. It's literally called the game day. I was like, this is it. This is what should I do, right? What should I do? Because they asking a lot of video game concept artists, and also of course some concept artists from film, like Mishu is one of the judges at the time, I think. And yeah, I joined participating on that contest, and I win second place for concept art contest. And it was like feel so exciting, and I think, wow, this is it. This must be my moment, like have a big breakthrough, something. And I applied. I also applied concept artist role in Kid-3D at the time, but they never replied me. And later on, I understanding why. It's because they want someone to can design, right, shape and form, not to focus on that much on keyframe illustration. Yes. At least for there, they never say that. It's me say that. So yeah. That's my prediction. But at least you already have beautiful pictures. Actually, I think that's not necessarily a bad thing, because you have we get exciting about beautiful picture, right? So when we already sort of can do things pretty shape, like composition, lighting, and everything, I think at least for me, I was more exciting to refine the design and rethink about the design and rethink about what kind of people live inside, and design the code out shit and design all the detail. And at least well, that was like this process is like I'm sort of figuring out later on. At the moment, I just still kind of unknown. Like I do this concept painting. It's already it's okay, right? I win the second place. It must mean this is great. Then what's next? I still kind of don't know at the time. And they but luckily they have this feedback session from Mishu, and he tell me like, hey man, like this is concept painting is not bad. Concept painting, he says good. The lighting composition is good, of course, but you need to think about outs. You need to, for example, call out shit. You need to draw the detail. You need to refine, and you sort of, and also because at that work is I'm doing with kids, 3D kids from KidBash 3D. So he's saying like you probably need to coming out some unique design and shape and form, right? So. And I was like, oh, wow, that's actually really good feedback. It's a couple words, but it's just so clear for me. And now I know what should I do? What should I do next? But before I actually doing it, I get another job, which is I think it's sort of big breakthrough is from a studio in Poland. They call One More Level, and they are doing sequel for Ghost Runner, the game called Ghost Runner. They are doing Ghost Runner 2, and they kind of just exactly what I was doing because it's again in the pre-production phase. It's blue sky, so they need a guy to sort of doing those kind of big concept painting, like composition, lighting, and put things inside. Like they have this keywords of like, for example, city or post-apocalyptic or landscape. And they want someone who can translating those keywords into just a painting, translating every keywords and put in sort of like checklist, and you can see by one picture you can get an idea like, oh, this is a cyberpunk city. You can see building is kind of like a box of buildings one by one. You can see composition. You can see little guy standing in the foreground, right? That's awesome. Every concept painting need a little guy. So they need that, right? So it got me understanding like, yeah, sometimes you do need to put in the mileage and just and have iteration and variation for all kinds of different work. But sometimes maybe there will be some studio they just need your work at this moment. It's possible, of course. Now I understanding like, yes, that kind of chance maybe is rare because it's pre-production phase, right? Not every project has a very long pre-production phase, and they maybe just couple months, right? And also those kind of concept painting could be potentially very, very important. Well, not potentially, it's very important because that's the first image of the project, right? Every single painting, every pixel of those painting could potentially expanding into a whole level. So it's a decision. It's a very important decision to make in the pre-production phase. And I have no idea why they think I can do it and trust me to do it. But I'm very luckily my art director willing to hold my hand. My art director Vilk at One More Level, he willing to hold my hand to do that and just giving me those trust to do this blue sky big picture concept painting, epic landscape. Everybody like it. You get thousands of like on our station. The kind of concept painting, right? So it's like I've been given chance to do that, and also because getting to the studio, with feedback, I get a chance to doing what Emil was telling me, which is call out shit and refine the design and creating unique design. And so I couldn't think better thing of outside of that, right? Because like you being trust with your current skill set, and also you being giving a room to expanding your skill set and to learn more about production and what game development is, and I think that's absolutely awesome. And also it's like the studio is in Poland, right? So it's like, and I immediately think of one guy, Mache, is like, was like, oh, I finally get started like when Mache started the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I was like, man, this sounds like a story, you know, this sounds like some kind of story. Like, but yeah, and then when the peer production phase, peer production phase, and am I pronounced
Pre-production?
peer production? Okay, yeah. So peer production phase over. I got a chance for offer from another Poland studio called 11-bit Studio. They also are doing. Oh, sorry. They saw me have this kind of big scale city related concept arts, and they are doing strategy game. They think I'm a good fit for that, and for that I was like, I've been giving chance to learn even more about what game development is, because the game is also a sequel and is past the blue sky phase. It's in the mid phase of the production, so they already have a pretty established art bible, and they have all kinds of gameplay mechanisms sort of building up. So, and also they have a narrative. Everything is kind of have something in there, like sort of foundation. So they want me to, so when I get into the studio, I needed to, I almost like get into some university of Forestpunk University to learn what Forestpunk is, to learn the previous language of visual language, and learn the story, and learn those gameplay feature, and my job becoming really just design assets, each buildings for those projects, and embracing and combining all those style that already there is, and also it's entirely different style, because before that I'm doing Ghost Runner, is a sci-fi, it's cyberpunk, it's there's a lot of freedom, or at least for me it's like something I quite know, and because when I'm doing personal work, a lot of them is also sort of sci-fi stuff. So but Forestpunk is a steampunk game, so it's kind of fantasy, but it's not fantasy, right? And also Frostpunk 2, they want to push the style into a bit like diesel punk. So it's really unique style, and at the same time it's a strategy game. So the design, the scale, the detail, all the big, medium, and small, how they combine together, it's different than first person games, because you're looking from top to down. You need to make it readable and make it look organized, well organized. But at the same time, they want those art style all packaged into together. So that's a lot of things to learn, and also I get chance to using engine, because it's already in the mid phase of the production, and they're like, encourage me to learn Blender, learn 3D software more, and also importing my 3D mesh into game engine to see is my design work in the in-gameplay camera, because one concept could be looking amazing from the 2D picture, but maybe it's not much work, right? So yeah, that's a whole lot of challenging. At the beginning, I was like, man, that's a lot of stress, but yeah, and when I noticed to especially switch to Blender, it's quite big challenging for me at the time, because like I already know how to creating a box. Now I have to relearn everything. Like, so it's like, I think you must, is you start with just using Blender, or you using Model or something?
Maya actually no, it was A-List Studio. That was my first 3D. Then it was Maya, and then Blender eventually. Blender sucked me in eventually. What about yourself?
Yeah, to me it's Maya and Cinema 4D is my beginning package, and then it's Blender. And I've been you know, it's like you already know how to do this, how to navigate, but in Blender, it's like you have to relearn everything. It's like I
Yeah.
think that's a really biggest frustration, and but I think it's also really thanks to Ukash, his art director at the 11-bit studio, right? He giving me this room to again keep learning, keep
Yes.
and also you get paid to learn, right? So like that's awesome. So and also he's an amazing art director because he really demonstrating what he think what good artist should be with himself. You know, he when I left the 11-bit studio, he got promoted as game director. So he not just learning art. He's not just doing art. He also learn and being a game designer. So he really know a lot of things regarding to game development. He treat game art as a supporting feature for the game dev. So I learned a lot from his mindset, and yeah, that I think with those experience, I really get chance to learning different style, sci-fi and to diesel punk and different gameplay like first person action to strategy game, and I was like, wow, I couldn't imagine that's I would be giving this kind of chance, and then yeah, and then I got, I guess because those mileage start add up, it rise. I posting some works. There's a start some people saying like, hey, actually we saw your work, like putting your work on some reference board. I was just like, wow, that's amazing. Like, and but what's funny is like still I there's a one time I learned that my work well I've been giving a freelancing job, and they put my work as a reference for me, but they didn't know that was done by me. But it's not like they want me to do that. It's like they say they don't want me to do that, so they put my work to tell me like don't do that, like, and but they don't know it's me doing that. So
Right.
so yeah, and then yeah, but I get a chance to doing more. I get more of the kind of freelancing or remote contractor sort of short term gig, and so I started to transition into sort of freelancer, and moving back from Poland, from Warsaw to Taiwan. I think it's like 2020 or 2023. Yeah, that was just a couple of years ago. So yeah, and yeah, and started to getting some opportunity from the state, right? It's a really good salary, because just about the time my dad is getting really sick, and I have no idea but that was the moment I'm becoming freelancing, and I moved back to Taiwan, and I get paid more, so I get a chance to sort of cover some of the paycheck and be around him when he go to like hospital, and I feel like really lucky because that was just like we have no plan that would happen. Well, of course, no one would planning the kind of things happen, but it's why they call accident, right? So it's like, but when I look back, it's like, man, everything is right on time. When like I study in school, I learned graphic design. Actually, I didn't want to do that, and I don't even know what I'm trying to do. And I learned, oh, there's a thing called concept art, and when I want to doing games, and really there's a opportunity out there. So it's like, man, it's really lucky, when I want to need something, and fate's really giving me this kind of opportunity, and then yeah, and that the some opportunity is just I couldn't think would happen, right? Some like working as a set designer for animation for Invincible. When I literally I was just wrapping up season 1, and I was like, wow, this is incredible, like violent, and the what if super wow, this is a kind of spoiler, but what if Superman is actually kind of not that good, I won't talk too much, and it was like, this animation is awesome, and one day I opened linking, and I saw Edwin tell me like, hey man, we want you to join our team to do season 2 and season 3 of Invincible. I was like, what? Is this real? Like, it was like right before Christmas. And I immediately tell them, like, man, this is the best Christmas gift I ever had.
Wow.
Yes. And yeah, and that's something. And so, and later on, and when I do the interview, I learned why one they feel I'm a good fit in, besides of work, and my artwork is, they also in the animation production, at least for them, they have this pipeline, which is they really want someone, they want all the set designer that can think about design and also sort of modeling them in Blender, and because it going to benefit for the production, because animation could be a multiple shot. So they wanted someone who, besides of design and they can modeling. So I was thinking, wow, this is exactly what concept artists being asked to do in video game industry, right? So it's like, and now I think, at least for them, it's kind of becoming sort of a very benefit. I don't know. Well, I think a couple of years ago, concept artists in video game industry that no 3D is a plus, right? Now it's kind of is a sort of necessary thing. So
Yes.
I think for animation, it will gradually will become necessary. I don't know, but at least at the time when they saw me can do this, and also they have this pipeline they wanted specifically using Blender, so they saw me have those work, like they this chance giving me this takeaway of you doing the good work, and and building sort of relationship, at least with Edwin. He's the animation supervisor, background supervisor, environment design supervisor, and we kind of sort of follow each other on our station. So and on linking. So I think this kind of connection, giving a chance for him to see my work, like, and knowing there's existing of me, and then and good and proper skill set, and then just waiting the good moment. So I think all those combination together giving me this chance to working as a set designer for Invisible season 2 and season 3. And yeah, that was an amazing chance. And I kind of, so I feel like I'm get back to the my time. It remind me the time in VFX, because VFX could be, the schedule in VFX could be quite tight. Well, because well, in VFX is because VFX studio is a sort of vendor, right? They take in project outside of studio, so there's already all kinds of things been there. So the timeline is quite clear. Maybe the movie needed to go out certain days, so the schedule could be tighter, and the requirement for artists working in VFX, for concept artists, is like have to get into the project and the style very quick, and very and to read the storyboard, to understanding what script talking about pretty fast. And for at the time, the animation job for Invisible is kind of like that. It's already in sort of mid phase of production state. They want someone they can break down those each shot from storyboard and design environment for those storyboard, and also design maybe sometimes sci-fi, sometimes regular room, and also modeling those things, and also doing some simple concept painting that can sort of creating this package of concept art with model, with concept painting, with all the design inside, and they can support what storyboard needs, and hand over to next phase of production. Could be a BG paint, background painter, could be a compositor later on. And yeah, that was an incredible, very, very tight schedule and an incredible journey. And Edwin is being a really awesome supervisor, really he also really take care of every designer and artist in the team, and he really care about did you have fun, and he would say like, hey man, like sorry I giving you this sort of regular like a normal room for you to design. Next episode we I promise to give you something cooler. And I was like, no man, what I'm doing set design for Invisible. This is like dream. Like I can design his a classic or whatever, his furniture, a chair. I would be happy. So yeah, he's really awesome. And then but at the time I didn't quite know a lot of things, but animation is sort of, well, at least in the state, it's kind of based on contract. I guess that's why they have a union, right? So because union will cover your healthcare and something. But that I guess I couldn't join that because maybe it's because I'm foreigner or something. I'm not sure. But when I contract over, I was kind of. They take another short project time from time, and I started to wondering what could I do next, right? Still because still in a way like get back to like previously, like a lot of artists saying like how to get good work, right? You need to get good. That's enough. So, and I was like, okay. Am I good enough? Like I still don't know because, and I still I still want to more stable job. At the time, I was thinking, or relocation and everything. I am open for that. I still apply, but a lot of job is just didn't reply to me. Or some studio they do reply to me, and I really appreciate it for that. Being really authentic, tell me like, hey man, we like your work, but we have no like budget, or like we didn't planning to relocate foreigner. So I was like, okay, probably I'm still kind of not there yet. And I just keep trying, keep doing personal project, keep applying. And one day I got my previous contract get back to me. It's called Piranha Games in Vancouver. They just happened. They have this interesting combination of they are doing a superhero project and a sci-fi project at the same time, and they saw my portfolio like I do sci-fi project and I have experience to superhero project, and I was like, wow, I guess I could be a good fit for that, and then it's almost a year of half the time, the journey of year and a half, and that was like flying so fast. And working remotely for them it's a very interesting things for me too, because I kind of upside down my day and night like completely, because I'm working according to Vancouver time zone. So I kind of living like Batman, like wake up in the night and
I know how that feels sometimes.
yeah, and I got a lot of at the beginning. I got started get a bit sick and get allergy. My skin is getting a lot of problem, but couple months later, I recover from that and becoming normal. And then
was that from the work pattern that you?
Oh
noticed,
yeah, because
unrelated?
Yeah, because the day and night like upside down sort of. Like man, no wonder no wonder human being is like you sleep with the night. The night time, like it's like when you are children, like you want to sleep late, like and like now at the time I feel like this mean dream come true. Like I can literally do that every day, and but it's it's a bit tired, but at the same time it's another years of for me to even learn more about game development, because the superhero project is a mobile game project called DC Hero United, and just sort of to design superhero related universe background design and design was quite interesting too. Designing Lex Luthor's corporation, but in Gotham. So it's an interesting combination. And it's a pretty cool chance too, for sure. And then but the project is relatively wrapping up quickly, and then is what Piranha's major project, Mech Warrior, is a Mech Warrior 5 Clans. Is also a multi gameplay. This game is with a multiple gameplay. They got first person shooter, and at the same time they got strategy mode, which you can go into strategy mode to giving order to your teammates. So they got strategy gameplay too. So that's quite interesting because I guess my strategy game concept art background helped me to can creating some concept art. They can support the kind of gameplay. And at the same time, and I think that's why 3D the 3D is so benefit, right? Because with 3D we can do creating a concept art is you can switch to aerial shot and telephoto lenses, so everything is like great, right? It's very cubical looking, and then you can have another camera in the ground, and you can doing the first person concept art. And you, because you're doing 3D, so when art directors say, hey, can you tweak this, can you tweak that, you can very efficiently creating. You can see what would look like difference in the aerial shot or in first person shot. So I think that's I think it's because the nature of the product is 3D. So we as a concept artist, we are just trying to supporting the product as close as we can. So I think that's one thing that got me realize why 3D is such a benefit tool to develop concept art for the video game, because it giving us a lot of freedom to see that. And then it was also the Mech Warrior universe is also a board game existing really long time. And so yeah, I learned I can also using my previous experience of how to study pre-existing universe and the background to on that to read. They even got their own Wikipedia fandom page. It's like a lot of reading, and a lot of they have words like only existing in their universe. So like yeah, I think that's a really cool experience. And then when we get close to the end of production, there's more and more tasks coming from different type of game development role, like level artists. So I even get chance to just directly using engine to keep bashing to directly design something. You know, maybe taking that part from that building, that part from that car, and keep it into something new and putting in that place. And also just tweaking some something like tweaking how trees or natural elements, how they grow, and to make it looking better, you know, sort of supporting what level artists would do, which I'm just supporting, you know, just because something I did could be sort of not that much focus on efficiency of the graphic, right? Because I may using this model is too heavy, you know, it's like million polygon, and I don't even notice. And they so I'm just, but using engine giving me chance to do something is just as close as the final product. And for level artists, like they really like it because they can take it, they can, you know, they don't need to looking a concept art and try to, you know, scratch their heads and try to figure out how to, you know, doing that, because I'm already sort of doing that, and they can optimize it and, you know, spend their level artist magic to doing something and they can maybe doing translating into a proper level asset. So yeah, that's something also is a quite challenging thing for me to do at the beginning, because engine. Yes, and especially it's working remotely. I'm remotely control my workstation, so there's a little bit lag like 0.1
Oh my
second.
god. Okay, yeah.
So yeah, that's a really like you need to take a deep breath every time you move things. So yeah, then yeah, and then it's like time is flying by, and when I realized, we shipping the project, but there's a good some we can do project that's good, or by our own standard as artist or developer, because that when I'm doing the Mac Warrior project, I feel like this is really something I want to do all the way, because well, I think many artists and many player really like single player game. They were saying like, hey, these days a lot of game is more of like service based. So like you have a couple hour of single player content, then sort of you kind of you needed to sort of practice your skill and you start fighting with other players. Sometimes could be fine, could be fun, but some artists, some player really like just good single player story mode. So, and Mech Warrior Fight Clan is really a game with like almost plus 20 hour of single player gameplay with cinematic cutscene. It's just like old single player games, and they got a critical moment. You can do some choice and have a different path, but it's not much. It's more of you join this epic battle of driving a big mech and invading, and in the end you making your own path. The kind of single player story driven game, and for me it's like I really like it. I always enjoy single player game a bit more. One thing is because the service game sometimes could eating too much time, right? So yeah, but that game was when that game release is kind of not, the selling was not hit the target, So you can read it from the report from our group, and then it's like a layoff, and like, so that was like when I in the development of Mech Warrior, I saw all those news like massive, just massive layoff happening, right? So it's like, man, like what's going on out there? Like I always feel, well, not just feel, I do have such a big distance between industry hub. I guess all this time I was in Taiwan, in my room, I was like, I was almost like in a little bunker and wondering what's outside, what's happening. Right? It's like post-apocalyptic. Is post-apocalyptic happening? Like,
Yeah.
Is this going to be fallout? Like, and then it's happened on me, right? And then me and the almost half of the studio got laid off, and yeah, that was like, I was shocking, but at the same time, I guess I prepare. I sort of prepare because it's massive layoff happening. I saw so many good artists being laid off, and I was thinking like, we couldn't predict what product would sell, but we do our best. We do a product that we're proud of. We do again the story we really proud of. The art, everything is pushed to next level. It's never been done for Piranha Game Studio before. It's really hard. We're putting so much heart and effort and blood and tears to this project, and then we do really proud it, and we saw a lot of art players do really like it, but of course you couldn't predict the commercial success, right? It's like a lot of good films, a lot of good games. They're good. People would come back years later and say, "Hey, this is actually awesome. Like, why the hell this studio is didn't do any more, right?" Or like a lot of movie like Blade Runner at the time is kind of the box office wasn't that pretty, right? So it's like, so yeah, I think, yeah, man, I think we as artists we try to control what we can control, which is do our best, and rest of it just, I think we can, but we can have some takeaway. They can in here, right? Is all the design knowledge, how we do good design, and the experience is only in here. So I think we can just still continually doing more, and I tried to I tried to go outside more, go out of my bunker more after that. And yeah, I see people, players still play games. People still like watch movies. So I think this is not the end of war. It's like it's just in the between. Like the production side is like taking a big tweak, which I have no idea what would happen. But yeah, and look back, I can understanding like there's a huge trending of industry getting better, and yeah, and now I can understanding like a lot of investors like Wall Street, like the kind of investor would say like, like there will be cycle of up and down, up and down, up and down, in economy cycle sort of, and I guess we are right now we are in this cycle, we are witness a cycle which is sort of we are in the history, and I think that's interesting things, but of course it's not interesting to not get employee for sure. So
For
yeah,
sure.
so yeah, I'm right now. I am try to have some time to take some freelancing again, and and me and a lot of artists friends have more time to connect, and also doing my own work. I've been publishing some of my own personal project, and yeah, and also learning new things, new skill, and try to see what will happen next. And yeah, right now I start thinking like work premiere is something. Well, those paperwork, can you get right working from other country could be some could be a things could be a factor influence you get a job or not. So I started looking into that, and I noticed like, hey man, actually in Taiwan we got this working holiday visa. Like I think many countries got this, right? You can working for other country. There is some agreement between countries, like you can go there working, you get work permit for a year or something. And I like, oh, I didn't know that. I don't even know that before. Now I know that like
Yeah.
I tried to apply, like for example, I tried to apply a work permit, working holiday visa for like Japan or UK. So I also tried to learn Japanese and just tried to take this as an experience to learn new things and embracing new chance. And yeah, and get a chance to interview with some indie studio and indie developers, because I think that could be a cool things, because I noticed I've been accumulating a lot of experience on working with developer and be a good developer. I was thinking maybe I should also just moving from that side more, right? Like Leo Afeo,
Yes.
he's one of the guests, right? He used to be
Yep.
my boss too. I used working in
Sick.
One Piece of Brush, working for him. He's amazing art director. He's recording his amazing feedback for me, and he teach me so much. And I think yeah, and not, right now when I look back, I was thinking I could I could do more on uh different skill, like Leo was doing. He doing so much thing, like doing animation, right, doing motion capture, and even doing his own game. I was thinking, yeah, I think for sure, like eventually, like what we're doing is like we concept artists in here, like we creating a game, we and a bunch of developers doing games, and selling to the consumers, selling to the players. So maybe if I think maybe we can have some way to access the audience in the more direct way, that would be awesome. But of course, at the same time, that's a bit in the on the other side. It's like why we don't do that, right? Because
Yeah.
we try to do something bigger than ourselves, which so we connect. We do so we forming into a studio or a company, so we can do something bigger than ourselves, and like a much complex product and access to the audience. And in order to doing these bigger things, there's a maybe you need some capital, right? You need some money to organize the studio. So yeah, that's I think there's for sure there's a whole lot of different things. Me as an artist didn't pay attention to it at all. And now
Same,
we
yeah.
have a we have a good time to review that, to see that. That's something that was my sort of path to be a concept artist. And look back, I feel like everything is right on time. Maybe right
Mm,
now even get lay off is a bad thing, of course, but perhaps it's a good thing for me to review my past, and to think, and to think about what future we should
mm-hmm,
do. Picking up something we ignore, or didn't pay attention, or just develop something new skill, and learning new things. And well, but at least one thing for sure is like I could stop living like Batman. I could like sleeping in the night and wake up in the morning. So yeah, that's awesome. And that's I am getting way healthier for living like
that's
what
awesome.
humans should be.
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean that's interesting. Firstly, like what one awesome thing about your journey there, like it's very wholesome in the sense of it's very rich as well. Like, yes, the career, the milestones you achieved, you made it, worked on amazing things. But it's also evident that you grew in many aspects along the way. You paid attention to things along the way. Even like you just said now, like things that were kind of over your head initially, you can go back and do that as well. And I think that's a great example for anybody listening at any level, like how to approach your journey, because it seems like you're just constantly inquiring, constantly inquisitive, and also looking for avenues, like a design problem. Like, everything is a design problem. I always believe like you can kind of like design your way out of it. If you design yourself into a corner every time, just abandon it and move on. But I like your attitude towards obviously the current layoff situation as well. So just to clarify, are you currently in a situation where you have no gigs at all at the moment?
I was in the between, like, there's a lot of studio they would say, well, maybe not a lot, but at least for me, it's right. I feel like right now it's like a lot of art director, or studio would say like, hey, there could be a project, maybe
Yeah.
1 month later, or they didn't say any time. They just say, we like your work, let's talk, and I get back, and they will get back to me like a couple of days or couple of weeks later, and there's some studio like tell me like they would kickstart project later, but they couldn't be 100% sure.
Mm,
Some developer, some studio owners, they're very authentic. They are very open. They just tell me like, hey man, like we really like your work, and we think you're the guy. You're the person. You're the artist. You're the teammate. Which they definitely would want to hire me, but they just couldn't get green light, a very clear green
yeah.
light from like budgeting and things they just wanted. So they just want to say goodbye. I'm sorry, not say goodbye, say hi,
Yeah.
and then just and keep in touch. Some developer really authentic, which I'm 100% appreciating, and I think that's a good thing to know. And right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm collaborate with some of my friends to doing something for a new project. I think it's not. I think I'm helping him doing those things, and I think he haven't released much information yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's something a lot of people can also pay attention to it, which is there could be a funding from government to encourage you to do your own business. I think there's
Yes.
must be better words for that. Cause I didn't know the proper words to say that, like video game encouraging you to founding video game studio. Like, I'm not sure every country would have that, for example, like I know Canada, they got a lot of funding encouraging entrepreneurs to do video game studio.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because video game is, it didn't cost much energy, and it's
Mm.
creative, it's intellectual property. It's a good sort of good business for them, but I'm not sure. But you're sad. So yeah, my friends are doing try to research on that side, and also we started to. I think there's something right now. Much things I'm something I can say for sure. I'm doing that. Outside of that, it's just I'm just in between in the in between mode, like talking
Yeah,
with some
same.
developers, and yeah, and just keep try to get healthy, get more exercise and doing personal project.
And sorry, yeah. Regarding that though, like starting on something new, like I like what you said there before about thinking, well, why don't I be a developer? Why don't I be the person that's on the other side of the desk, so to speak? Which I think is it seems natural, and like your whole journey as well, like from graphic design into concept art. I mean, just to recap, how many roles have you done so far?
I think majority is just doing sort of artist in pre-production. Of course, in animation they call set designer, right? It's not, and in VFX, I also working as a map painter, but
Mm-hmm.
it's all just digital artists. I did never
Right, right.
really. Yeah, I do try to, when I think in Europe, when I'm working in Poland and some of the European company, I noticed like they really like, well, not they sorry, not they really like, it's like they are more willing to offer sort of B2B contract. So they kind of want you with asking, hey man, do you want to register some studio or workshop, and
Right. Yeah.
we can sign B2B contract. And of course they still want to hire you as artist, not to hire you as studio. But I think B2B contract is sort of giving me a different perspective. It's like when you're working in the studio, you're accumulating experience at the same time you're accumulating the trust, right? You can, maybe if you sign this B2B contract with the studio, one day you can say, hey man, I I can, maybe I can outsourcing some job, or from this contract, from this studio name.
Mm,
I can be a manager, and helping studio, maybe studio looking
mm,
for art developer, and if you guys have hard time to do that, we can do that. And I do have some studios where I working for it before, some Europe studio, some Poland studio. They're like, hey man, like, did you know some artists from Taiwan? Like, can you recommend them to us, because we have hard time to finding talents. And I noticed, yeah, that's a good thing to do, and because sometimes I know a lot of talent in a lot, I think in a lot of talent in many countries, they don't know where to do, finding job. It's like what I'm don't know how to get into video game industry, and there's also, but at the same time, sometimes there could be a studio, maybe they are in Poland, and they more familiar with European Union, the talent pool in Europe, right? They think, they must think about, oh, there must be talent all over the world, but how to access those talent, right? So I think, well, the industry called human head hunting, right? Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is, there's an industry. So but of course, later on, I noticed, for me, when they ask me this question, I try to recommending some of my friend. Sometimes could be difficult, because for us, it's like we have this language barrier, right? So we speak Chinese in Taiwan, we speak Chinese, we speak Mandarin. So some when you ask me like what kind of hat I wear before, like, it's like, it remind me, like, besides of learning arts, and also I also need to learning language, right? So that's another challenging and
Mm,
things to do. Just happened because I was putting so much time play games and movies, so that was happen very natural, come naturally to me. But I know, for many people, like, when they my friends from Taiwan, they ask me like, uh how to get into industry.
mhm,
I notice, besides of building a skill set, learning another language is a huge gap for
mm,
everyone, for sure. Right now I'm learning Japanese, so I know that I can feel that too. It's like, man, it's because Chinese and Japanese is, there's a similarity. So I already had some edges learning that, but still that's, it's different. So putting the mileage in the time is just, remind me why I go to the career path, not academic
Yeah.
path.
Yeah. In an ideal situation, in terms of like, there's no restrictions and you have an option to kind of do what you want to do next, what would you do?
Yeah. So I do. I think it's for sure. It's try to. I think it's about to learn more. I think one thing I always feel like I want to do is to learn more things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I a lot of things. For example, like when you ask me this question, of course, the first idea is like doing my own stories and doing my own, for example, like maybe drawing a graphic novel, comic book, have a fun to just be a painter drawing things with my hand and think about stories. Besides of art and just creating a world and the story, I think that's something I feel like I wanted doing when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's when we saw a movie and good comic book. I think that's coming from that side. But when I think about those ideas, when I think about do I know about a lot about how to writing a good story, right? I know, and I notice I have zero idea how to do good story, and at the same time, I guess my personality. Yeah. So I think when we think about our past, we sometimes with well, our personality is incredibly important, because are we agreeable or not, right? Do we like
Mm-hmm.
collaborate or not, right? That's important thing to know, for me, it's like I think I'm quite happy to collaborate with someone else. And when you ask me what I try to do, what I want to do, I want creating a world or story. I always think about creating a meaningful story for the community, for the world. That people can watch and they feel fulfilling. Like
Mm-hmm.
Blade Runner, the kind of masterpiece. Like you watch it, you can really think about a lot of things. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I think it's because I care about other people. So I feel like creating artwork and the story is a good way for me to engage in this world, to interactive with people. And so yeah, that's it's like but at the same time, it's because I'm pretty introvert person. I kind of bit shy,
Mm-hmm.
and so I feel like if I doing art, it's like I creating another. It's like you're creating a much well established, beautiful another you that telling
Mm-hmm.
things to other people. So yeah, that's something coming to my head, coming to my mind. So when I think about that, I notice actually besides of doing concept art, there's so many things I don't know. I know a little bit about modeling and animation, and a little bit about Unreal, right? But besides of that, I have zero idea about other side of production or developing games or any product. So I think what I should do the first things is just learning. So if I can get all the research at the time, I would really spend the time to learn how to write a good story, learn maybe learn more about just drawing and draw comic book, draw the script during the storyboard, and maybe eventually learn animation by myself and
Mm-hmm.
when I have those kind of skill set. Well, maybe not just because I want doing myself, because, but being if I get chance to be the person who can sort of directing things, I think I will want to be the person who have idea about what I'm directing. I have idea about what's animation doing. Like a lot of big director, I think you and me both look up, right? Like Ridley Scott, he's a pretty good drawer, right? Like
Yes.
James
Yes.
Cameron, he's also like he really know VFX. Like I mean, so yeah, I think that I want to be like Dan, know things how to
Yes.
do, learn your craftsman, and at the same time do the thing for the audience. So that's something I want to do.
Sick. I love it. I love it. And I'm pretty sure by the sounds of it, you're going to make sure that however long it takes, it will get done, because you can tell that the desire there is genuine. It's something that you clearly thought about. Obviously, doing it is a different thing versus the thinking about doing things.
Yeah.
But clearly, it's like something that, I mean, we all say, I like how you put it there as well. Articulate like how sometimes when you're trying to tell a story or do your own project, it's like something more that's your inner child. That's something that you always want to do as a youngster, for example, which I think is a very accurate statement. But then there's almost like, yeah, doing something on this level requires a lot more finesse, a lot more moving pieces. And if you start it straight away, it's not always going to go the easy road. But I think once you make the jump, I'm pretty sure it will work. Now, with that said, are you somebody, when it comes to making a jump like that, do you talk yourself out of it, or do you tend to dive in head first?
Yes, I think I'm more of just doing get into it first, the kind of the kind of person, because like recently I tried to do a Unreal, just a very short couple minute animation, and I had a post on Instagram, just inspired by my hometown. Is a wind punk. Everything is touched by wind.
Like it, yeah.
Thanks, thank you. Because my hometown is literally near to a harbor, a port, and wind is really strong. And we got this giant wind turbine.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a view I would see every day if I coming out of my cage.
Nice.
So then giving me a lot of inspiration, and so I've been doing that for almost 2 years, but not stoppingly 2 years. It's a couple of months scattered between 2 years, and I think that's a really good way to producing something. Well, at least for me, like something for you, for individual person as is original. The good way is you taking longer time, but you review time from time back, because it's original for you, right? It's original for me. So like when I'm doing it, I have no idea, but I can do something. I can do this periods of time and do something and do something else and get back to it. And I think that's a much easy for me to develop a original project. As a person, as an individual, I think that's a good way. So I take 2 years and just refine those buildings, refine the design, to make sure everything is curvature, everything is like floating, have the flow, and also finding good way to doing those things in Blender and modeling and designing. And then I start learning how to import those things into Unreal Engine, and how to set up things in the engine and set up simple animation, even just simple camera movement, the kind of animation, and something simple like wind turbine, just rotating this kind of things. And it's a simple thing, but it's like in Unreal, like it could get wrong in a million different ways, right? It's like I have this 1 minute wind turbines disappear. I have no idea why, like, and I have to re-render the whole thing though. So, but I when I do these things, I was thinking about very simple idea. I was at the same time, I was think about those big, arts and artists I look up, like for example, Stephen Coleman. He doing those shots of you just flying through the scene, right? I was thinking, I just try to, I'm not trying to do arts as Stephen was doing, but I try to learn from him, just flying through the camera, and then I start notice, hey, maybe I can put in something else is moving, some drone are flying. Maybe I can put some animation, people walking around. Just start adding things and learning while doing it, and also using some of my map painting knowledge from before. Maybe the cloud in the background could be just a 2D plan, and something like that. Lighting and finding way how to sort of cheat lighting. They have this shadow card, which is sometimes your scene will be too bright, but you want some part to be very dark. So you actually you cover your scene with a simple cards to blocking the light, and then you make it unseen from the camera. So for some reason that thing would look really dark because it's actually in the box, but just audience
Right.
couldn't see the box. I try to learn those technique, and yeah, I think it's a good. I think this is how I do things. A lot of time, and at the same time, of course, it's because that I could be very scattered. I could be too scattered sometimes, but I guess because I put in so much time, so I can still manage it. Started to learn to manage it my way to do something that people can still willing to giving this holy likeness, this amazing likeness, the willing to giving. So I appreciate for that. And
Awesome.
and yeah, but of course it's a heavy lifting. Really feel like you're lifting really heavy. And now I just wrapping out the project like couple of weeks ago, right? Like right now, I feel feel a bit burnout. Like I feel like man, I planning to do next project like maybe fantasy. I want to do a fantasy castle in Unreal and with also
Yes.
movement. Maybe this time much just like what Stephen Coleman would do. Just flying through a camera castle. I want to do something just nice concept art painting, but it's moving. And I feel like sometimes I wake up, for example, this morning wake up, I'm like, do I want to do it? Yeah, yes, of course. And I walk into my computer, I was like, oh man, I kind of feel tired. Like I just wrapping out the project, like man, I want to rest. And yeah, for right now, I feel a little bit burnout and just want to take a rest. And so I'm doing something else, for example, like recording this podcast with you is awesome. It's giving me a nice break.
No, I think burnout is something that you just can't escape. I don't know if you've seen the film Final Destination. It's pretty much that. Like it will catch up. It will catch up with you whether you like it or not. Sadly, we've got to wrap up soon, so I've only got a few more questions before we do. You mentioned, speaking on the terms of burnout, I like how you described living in your bunker. I mean, I think that's like almost every artist could think that way. When you mentioned that, I just immediately thought of my bunker, which I've been in for so long. How have you found a healthy balance though with life? Because from based on what you were saying, like it seems like it's something that you had to realize as opposed to were aware of. And how do you go about making sure that you have a good balance between things?
Man, that's I think that's difficult, for sure. Just well, if you have you're working in the studio environment, like for me, like I've been working as a contractor, remote freelancing, for 2 or 3 years, not very long, but I'm not really as working as just a freelancer. I'm kind of more like a remote situation, which is we have a weekly meeting or daily, sometimes even daily week meeting, and we have a very clear. For example, in video game, in animation, it's like we have the schedule is pretty tight, and in video game development, we have this agile development, right? So we have a milestone to chase. So actually, I think those structure giving me good limits of balancing, and I have a good idea of what to do, what to deliver this week. So yeah, that's a good thing. But I think downside of doing what you like to do is like you like to think about it all the time, right? You like when you're taking a shower, you think about sometimes you just thinking you couldn't control it. You're walking on the street with your family, right? It's just you start thinking about this environment perspective. You saw something inspire you, you just couldn't. You feel like you should pay attention to maybe your friend next to you rather than the project.
Yeah.
So I think it's a difficult, but working in the studio is like, but that makes sense, right? It's because in the studio they got manager, they got project manager, right? I have an incredible moment with working with like manager in Piranha against like Michael and Richard and also in sounds a lot of studio because they are the pro. They literally doing this thing called manager, like so they're really helping me and the whole team to getting things clear so you can know you have an idea of like when to do what and when to rest and when to doing sort of more things. And
Mm.
yeah, but I think yes, I think another thing is um the schedule of you feel tired, so you is or you feel hungry, so you are leaving your working station, right? So I think that's also important thing to be attention to it, So I think nowadays we have so many fast food, right? We have so many things, just very access. So I think in a way that's not the bad thing because it's helping you. Maybe you want to focus. You have
Mm-hmm.
maybe you are in a startup. You want to hustle hard, but I think yeah. But if you want to have a healthy life, maybe when you feel hungry, you could living in your desk and just go to some place, just have a
Mm.
nice, even just 10 minutes, you sitting, eating something. Perhaps is good things. It's a good, and you feel tired.
Mm.
You don't drinking energy drinking, just go to sleep. And
Has there
yeah.
been anything that you've done or practiced recently that had a big positive effect on your work-life balance, even maybe the health-life balance as well?
Oh, yes. Actually, yes. What I'm saying is like I tried to uh doing what I'm trying to doing in recent years
Uh-huh.
because yeah, before for sure I'm just drinking coffee and sitting on the desk in front of desk and eating a lot of microwave food and ramen noodles, very fast
Yeah.
and and get really not healthy and gain very a lot of body fat and like it's really not healthy and develop a lot of problem, like my neck is getting
Same.
painful,
Yeah.
like back pain. And then yeah, I noticed. I think like for me, it's like my when I feel painful on my neck or my back, that was the moment I feel like I couldn't ignore anymore. I couldn't
Mm.
simply just I have to do something like because it's so painful. I have to do something like so. I guess yeah. I now look back, I would feel like maybe I shouldn't waiting to that happen. Right? Is if I could do what I'm just saying, even I'm saying this is when I have fun of working, I can definitely understanding why we want to focus on working. But now I look back, it was like if I feel hungry, I just go to some restaurant, have a little bit of walk. Or if I feel tired, I just sleeping. Maybe I won't develop a bad back pain or neck pain or pain anywhere.
Mm.
This. So yeah, that's definitely not a from short term, you feel like you achievement something, but from long term, that would definitely hurting you in so many ways. And
Mm.
your body is really it's not like this computer, this laptop. You can changing, you can switch. Your body
Yes.
is
Great
along with you like
example. Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, no, I wish if only we could just swap out, better GPUs in our bodies and all sorts of stuff, and
Yeah.
better PSUs and cooling systems. That'd be awesome. Speaking of awesome, it's been great chatting with you. Any final thoughts or words from yourself before we head off?
Yeah. So I really appreciate you inviting me to this podcast. And I believe in information in it could really changing some people's pathway, and it definitely changing mine. And yeah, and also so I'm really happy to have the chance to share my some of my experience. I hoping it could giving some other people maybe in similar situation would get a bit inspired maybe. And yeah, feel free to reach out and also and yeah, I think it's also very lucky to being an artist and do what we like.
Mm.
And yeah, that's best thing in the world. You do something you like, you have a lot of passion to keep doing it, and because you keep doing it, you are improving. Sooner or later, just what I'm saying, what my experience like for years and years, I didn't feel that much of improving, but because I'm feel a lot of fun and just keeping doing it, and of course I have the society supporting me, my family supporting me, and I still get some job to supporting me financially. so I can keep doing it. So balancing it's it's a really important tool. But what's also still most important thing is your internal motivation. And if you can keep doing it, you the mileage, I think you definitely get you somewhere. And yeah, and wish we can all have chance to met in person with all the like you, and maybe in some place. I think it would be awesome. Yeah, and actually next week I'm going to Poland, so maybe I'll get if there's some event. Is there going to any event in Europe, like concept art event? Like maybe
I
I
think
can
there's a
go
few.
there.
There's always a few in the summer. I think there's like 4 or 5. So yeah, definitely hit them up if you do get a chance.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, then that's what I just want to say. So yeah, so yeah, just keep doing something you like. You're improving, and I think when you're improving, it's you'll get somewhere. Just like all those amazing artists would say, like
Mm.
your work, we're taking you somewhere.
Tsu Wei, absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for jumping on.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Tsu Wei for sharing his journey. Hit the links to see what he's up to and to give him a follow. Then head to learnsquared.com and enrich your own career, just like Tsu Wei did, by taking your next Learn Squared course. And remember, all of our first lessons are free. I've been your host, Aaron Danda. Till next time.